All right, guys. So we're live. Hopefully it's not too laggy here. I'm getting like 1 bar of internet. But Tyson, dude, kind of crazy. I figured we'd both pop on. 53-man roster would be out. Figured it'd be out by like 4:30 ish.
Yeah.
It's still not officially out, right? Yeah, John, it's not officially revealed. I'm hoping. I mean, me and Tyson, we're probably gonna be live for what 45 minutes to an hour, something like that, maybe a little over. So hopefully it drops during this next hour. But we do have a long list of players that were in fact released. Quick shout out to Justin Freed over on the jetpress.com, constantly updating this site. The last update here, August 26th. Let me just make sure you guys can see my screen. Yeah, August 26th. 7-11. We can quickly refresh this just to make sure, but I'm sure we'll all get that big notification when the Jets officially drop the thing.
Yeah.
And we'll actually have for sure answers. Will the Jets keep 3 quarterbacks on the roster? What's going to happen with Brady Cook? Jeremy Ruckert's future. We just saw a tweet literally right before we clicked live saying that according to Zach Rosenblatt, it's looking like Xavier Gibson is going to be on the 53-man roster. So Tyson, man, how you doing? Let's talk about some of these moves so far, whether it's a cut that the Jets made or maybe another team out there releasing a player that maybe makes some sense for this for this Jet squad. There's a lot of stuff to dive into, and again, the 53 is not even out yet officially.
I was shocked, dude, because I text you before. I'm like, I was going to the gym, I had to train a fighter, and I'm like, hey man, what's going on? I'm like, I thought when I came out, be all the reactions and overreactions to all this stuff, and it's like, boom, nothing. And now it's like a lot of speculation, which with the Jets, they have leaked absolutely nothing. So I don't really want to go too far into. I mean, like Zach Rosenblatt, you can obviously respect him and his resources, but I'm shocked that there's not more out right now. I'm guessing 8:00 they probably do it, but I mean, we can go through this list here because there's some interesting names. And then there's also some disappointing guys, too, where you look at, the whole theory is built through the draft, right? And that was Joe Douglas's mantra. It's hard to build through the draft if you're cutting guys after 2 years or they're complete disappointments like Malachi Corley. And that's the challenge for Muji going forward is you've got to get value not only in the first 2 rounds, but in the later rounds, 4th round, 5th round. You can't keep mailing in drafts, getting 2 players. And that's how you have no depth, right? So it's, some of the guys cut today were just unfortunate because you wish they pan out because, see, a Carter Warren pans out, there's your tackle. Malachi Corley pans out, then you got a gadget guy, yards after catch receiver. Now you got to replace all these guys with somebody else. So it's interesting. I can't believe it's 7:34 and it's not done yet. But I mean, if you start with the first one, go ahead.
Well, yeah, just to quickly cut you off, it's not like the Jets didn't get the list into the end because the NFL demands it by 4. Like that's the rule. You got to get it in by 4. It's just the Jets not releasing it.
Right. Yep.
They haven't, put it out to the public. They haven't given it to reporters or anything like that. So that's why we're still in the dark. It's not like the Jets have no idea.
No, I think there's 5 teams that have done it right. I think there's like 4 or 5 teams that are in the same boat. It's not just the Jets.
Right. Yeah, but it's getting late here, and for everyone hanging out in the chat, I really appreciate it. Me and Tyson always go live every Tuesday night, but hopefully it drops within this next hour. I mean, man, you got to imagine we're an East Coast team. I just don't see it coming out 12:30 or them dropping it tomorrow morning. I mean, that would be kind of
yeah.
NYJ, yo, I appreciate you, bro. Thanks a ton, man. Again, hopefully it comes out, but. Yeah, we can quickly go through this list. So Rashad Weaver put on season-ending IR. We were talking about this last night, man. Like we all knew he was heading to IR. We didn't know it was, well, at least for me, I didn't know it was a season ender. So pretty thin at defensive end.
But just going into that was a guy they counted on, dude. They were really high on him. Like, he's gonna be an impact player. And an injury to him almost seems like it keeps Michael Clemens on the roster for now, right? Like that, for every injury, there's an opportunity. And I think that is probably Clemens, right? That's where he rolls in there.
Yeah, I mean, you got to imagine. Plus, like you're factoring in all the reports of him having like the supposed good camp, which I guess is positive. But at the end of the day, we all kind of need to see it on the field.
Yep.
So Vinny, what's going on, man? Thanks so much for hopping in. No, it's not officially out yet. We're still kind of waiting here, but hopefully it drops within this next hour. But me and Tess are going to be kind of breaking down the cuts that we've seen so far. We have a pretty good idea on what the roster is going to look like. It's just like some of those burning questions. What exactly is the wide receiver room going to look like? What's the tight end room going to look like? How many offensive linemen are the Jets going to carry? Defensive linemen, same thing.
Yep.
How many quarterbacks are the Jets going to hang on to the roster? It's Brian, Brian, what's going on, man? Yeah, Lazard, that's a whole nother discussion, man, because I mean, me and you were texting pretty early this morning about some of the wide receiver, or I mean, really just some of the moves overall of just letting some of these young players walk out the door. Now, of course, the hope is to get some of them back on the practice squad, but I think, I mean, how do you want to do this? You want to just go straight through this list?
Yeah, we just go down the list there because there's a couple of names are gonna pop out right away. We're like, all right, it's like Rashad Weaver automatically catches your attention.
Yeah, so Bump Cooper, I believe, is also on IR here. Mario Goodrich, he was released earlier. Sam Jackson, Neil Johnson, same thing. Fedarian Mathis, that was, I believe, a move that was made a couple of days ago.
Yeah.
Mulba, undrafted free agent out of West Virginia. Pokey Wilson. Noddy, obviously traded to the Kansas City Chiefs. Davis was released, I believe, yesterday afternoon.
Yeah.
That caught some people by surprise, but I think that looks pretty good for McCray Ball at the weak side linebacker position.
And also,
way, I got the phone open, so if we get the 53, we'll of course just pull that right up on the Jets website. And also, if you guys catch it in the comments, let us know. Because we're trying to get this thing up as soon as possible.
And the thing is, too, I think Davis is probably a candidate to try to maybe bring back too, right? That's a guy they liked, but not enough to make the 53. But he could be a candidate to try to bring back in some role.
Right. I think according to reports too, he was practicing with the starters early in training camp.
He was.
So Martinez was waived. Michael Fletcher.
Well, hold on. So just with Martinez, which means Brady Cook as of now is making the roster. But do you think he actually makes the roster, or they like right now? Your gut instinct says what? Two quarterbacks or three?
Two would be my guess. But I thought Brandon Smith was going to make the roster. I thought JBC was going to make the roster. We'll dive into it. Yeah, Skinner's another one. We'll go through this list here.
Michael Fletcher is interesting because he actually had a pretty good game the last game. Like he was like it was garbage time for a lot of players where they could actually just showcase their skill set. He was making an impact on the line of scrimmage, man, batting down passes, trying to get after it. So maybe he's a candidate to be brought back as well.
Yeah, I think Fornadell is also maybe a big practice squad candidate.
Yep.
Zach Kuntz, it kind of feels like his time is up with the Jets. He's had a lot of opportunities. Yeah, McAllister, Toafili. The Jets gave him a lot of opportunities. I didn't think he looked bad.
He looked explosive, man. He looked very quick, explosive. And again, I guess it's how you want to prioritize your practice squad. Like what positions you want to focus on the most. I'm not sure if you want to go running back again if you try to bring back Donovan Edwards. So he's an interesting player, though.
Right. And so now we're kind of getting – wait a second. Do we have it? No. Ravens news. So here's a big group of players that, man, I think there are maybe some questionable decisions. So first kind of big name up here is Carter Warren. Really the battle was between Warren and Max Mitchell. It seemed pretty cemented in, solidified that Okorafor was going to be making the roster as like that backup right tackle. Yep. So who's going to be that backup left tackle? It's looking like it's probably going to be Max Mitchell. I don't really see a situation where they're cutting Max Mitchell. We're going to find that out, and they cut Carter Warren, and we're rolling into the season with 3 tackles. You know what I mean? I think this bodes well for Max.
Do you think the decision was made because of Max Mitchell's versatility too? Could that be because like Carter Warren's kind of pigeonholed, right? So I think maybe Max Mitchell's kind of a little more versatile. Maybe that's his flexibility because for their offensive line, they preach a lot of flexibility. Maybe is that the one point that you keep Max Mitchell now, and then because one thing I keep remember is with the final 53 today doesn't mean it's gonna be the same thing a week from now. Max Mitchell could be
or even too. Sorry to cut you off, but even it could change tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm saying so. It's like we could be like, oh, this Max Mitchell's a bad backup. They could actually find an upgrade in somewhere else today, tomorrow, next day. But I'm just thinking maybe it's the versatility kept him here, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, I mean, one of them was going to stay. It's probably I mean, it's obviously going to be Max. Let's see, Cole Laval. This is someone who the Jets brought in. He was impressive in the USFL. As that interior offensive lineman, I think this could be a practice squad candidate, in my opinion.
Yep, absolutely.
Eric Watts, what's kind of your take on Watts? I think maybe he heads back to the practice squad because we're so thin at D end.
Yeah, I think so too. Like he's a player. He's like a project player coming on, but I think it's definitely a practice squad candidate. If that, if I'm I don't think he gets claimed elsewhere. Do you?
No, not at this point. Man, wide receiver Brandon Smith. This is man. I saw this news early in the morning. I'm like, damn, dude. Like it sucks because it's like if you're a guy in Brandon Smith, you really felt like he took advantage of his opportunities. Yep. Whether it was last year in training camp, didn't make the cut, okay. But this go round, it's like he put together a nice training camp. Wide receivers a position of need. There were multiple reporters talking about Smith. Every single preseason game, he caught multiple snags. Right, I think it was 3 catches week 1, 5 catches week 2, 2 catches week 3.
Yep.
10 catches total. With over 100 receiving yards, and he looked strong. He looked physical. So to see him get released, especially early in the day like that, I was not gonna lie to you, I was kind of pissed about it.
Yeah, I mean that once the news came out yesterday that Allen Lazard's gonna be ready for week 1, you're like, well, there goes one of the spots for the young guys, and unfortunately, it was Brandon Smith. And I'm with you, dude. Like when Aaron Glenn kept saying, like you can earn a spot in the preseason, you can earn a spot in training camp. He seems to be the guy that actually earned a spot, like legitimately. We talked about it. Like this is back-to-back good preseasons, even though Aaron Glenn didn't see him last year. Aaron Rodgers liked him, pushed him. So it's like that's just disappointing, man. I hope they, and again, maybe we're overrating him a little bit because we're so desperate at wide receiver. But from what we saw from this team and this player, I thought he earned a spot, man. And like he looked consistent. It's like, what does Lazard bring to the table? Good, okay, good blocker. Okay. You know what he is? He's a receiver. Can he catch the ball consistently? He hasn't said he's been a Jet. And that's what pisses me off. But then you made a good point too. When you restructure his contract, you kind of feel like there's some kind of handshake agreement. Like, listen, man, you restructured, did us a favor. You're going to be here for the year. You know, that's kind of what it seems like. But that was disappointed. I was completely disappointed with that one.
Yeah, man, it sucks, man, because like when the Jets brought Lazard in, it's like you're looking at the guy like, okay, proven guy up to this point, a veteran who's made big plays down the field. He has good size. Again, he is a good blocker. And the Jets signed him to a freaking 4-year contract, man. This was not a 2-year deal. 4 years, 44 mil. That's a decent, like that is wide receiver 2 money. Yeah. So, you know, the fact that it's just year after year after year, we're talking about him not living up to the contract. Again, it's just disappointing. And yeah, he did restructure the deal, so it's not like this huge cap hit or anything, but still, like, you know, to have a guy like this on the roster, essentially you're saying goodbye to one of the young guys. And look, it's not to say that Brandon Smith won't get put back on the practice squad. I mean, there's a chance that he could get claimed, and I don't want to make it sound like Brandon Smith is T. Higgins or anything. Right. It's just from my perspective, watching him this preseason, understanding the reports, looking into the training camp practices, it's almost like what more does Brandon Smith need to do, realistically speaking? You know, he's not going to go out and have 500 receiving yards in 3 games in preseason. Like, you know, limited opportunities. I don't know. To me, he just. I thought he did a good enough job, and you know, with Lazard on the squad, you know, someone's being left out.
Yeah, the other thing too is Lazard's a respected leader in the locker room too, where they said he is a good mentor for all the young players. Meanwhile, you're cutting all the young players, doesn't make it. But I'm like, he's a very positive presence in the locker room. Aaron Glenn said it many times. So, I mean, it is what it is. Like it's frustrating, especially because you know what he brings to the table. Like, he's just so inconsistent. Which, like, you know, everybody saw the one thing in the chat. Well, he catches touchdowns. Okay, how many passes does he drop every game? That's the other thing. So we'll see. The wide receiver group's a work in progress, but that Brandon Smith was a disappointing for sure.
Yeah, and Leo's dogs, man. Gibson shaking my head. Yeah, that seemed, according to Zach Rosenblatt, I don't know if you were in the first couple minutes, but he reported that he's looking like he's going to be on the roster, and he's missed a lot of time due to the shoulder injury. So. Yeah, I mean,
can I ask you a question though? Can I ask you a question? Sorry for cutting you off.
No, you're good.
But like with Gibson, what is his biggest asset? Is it a receiver or a returner? Like, what does he truly bring to the table? We all remember the Bills game, the return, the touchdown. That's great, but what does he bring? That's so, like, to me, like Jamal Pritchett has that little intangible that was kind of exciting to me because I think we know what Gibson is already. Like, we know he's like I don't know, it kind of bothers me, man, that they're keeping him. And he's been hurt to boot, which I was like, maybe you could stash him on the IR and keep a Pritchett and kind of maneuver things that way. But what's Gibson's biggest asset to the team right now?
I mean, you got to assume it's the return game, but like we just haven't seen it, and we have seen Pritchett, we have seen Nwangu do pretty good things on special teams. So yeah, it's confusing for sure. I mean, I'm writing down, like, as you're talking, I'm writing down the wide receivers that we haven't heard from so far. Let me just run it by you real quick. So it's looking like and by the way, Malachi Corley's released. We're going to talk about him in a second, but it's looking right now, if the Jets keep 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, if they keep 6 wide receivers, it's going to be Garrett Wilson, Josh Reynolds, Tyler Johnson, Alan Lazard, Gibson, and Pritchett.
What about Arian Smith?
Oh, yeah, and Arian Smith. So that is
7. I don't think
So,
Pritchett makes it, dude. I genuinely don't think he makes it. And that'll bother me, because like you want that. It's just he's an intangible guy. He's got that explosive ability as a returner. I know he had the fumble like that, but he's young. That's just, I don't know. I like seeing the opportunity.
Yeah, Dave. I actually have a big list of players that were actually just released today that we're going to talk about here at the end. But yeah, dude. I mean, again, because it's like, okay, if Lazard, we know Garrett's going to do his thing. Josh Reynolds earned his spot. Tyler Johnson earned his spot. Arian's going to make the squad. But you're looking at those, again, bottom of the roster slots at a big time position of need. It just kind of feels like, what more, like, did Pritchett even have a shot to make the team? Yeah. Did Brandon Smith even have a shot? Like, they capitalized on their opportunities. If they're just going to give the job to Gibson, even though he's missed all this time due to injury, with the new system coming in, it's not like Joe Douglas is still here, Salah's still here, where he knows the offense or anything. So I don't know. And who knows? Maybe the Jets will luck out and they both wind up on the practice squad. That'd be great. But until then, sorry, go ahead.
No, so that's the goal, I guess, at this point. If he's not going to make it, try to get him on the practice squad and keep him around, and maybe maneuver some other, maybe make some other moves, and he can bring him back. You'll see what happens. It's a work in progress. That's the guy. It's like, that's one. The wide receiver position right now is just annoying to me. Really, really annoying me.
Yeah, and Vinny, the waiver claims start tomorrow. You have to wait a full 24 hours. Brandon Smith is the most upsetting. Yeah, it tells you that they're not really they aren't keeping many receivers. Yeah, I mean, again, man, we'll see how it plays out. Let me just double check. Tyler Heineke's released, but no official Jets roster up to this point. Next guy up here is JBC, another guy who I thought, okay, he could be the last corner in.
Well, there was, we had this conversation yesterday where it's like, I like him a lot because he's really versatile, man. Corner, safety, looked like he was really coming out in the preseason, got a lot of talent. But then, if I'm being fair, I like Jarius Monroe, like Malachi Moore. There's other guys that seem to kind of be emerging too. So it's like, where, like, you got to pick your poison of who you want. Like, I'm curious to see who else makes it then if he's out. Because, Jets seem like they have some pretty talented safeties that they can keep that are versatile. So that was definitely a surprising one, especially early on. Like, it's a revamped secondary now.
So we got the list. I believe we do. I think, let me just try to pull it up here in the background.
Now we can really start arguing.
Yeah, let's dive into this thing, man. All right, so the Jets just posted on their site. It says our official 53-man roster is set. Let's try to figure out how to share the screen over here. Kyle, nice hat, man. Or nice hat, Ian. Where can I get one? Just type in whatever team you want. A-frame hat. That's what I did. Adjustable. This one's like a snapback. Let's see. Oh, I gotta pop this one out first. Hold up. Share screen. All right. We did it. We finally made it. We're here. Let's dive into this thing. So let's start, I guess, with IR. Irv Charles, Byron Cowart, Jamarcus Weston. And Weston is kind of the special teams ace. That news came out today that he is going on IR.
Yeah, he's a player that they definitely like a lot. So that was interesting that he's there.
Yep. So, I mean, how do you want to do this? Do you want to
just go top to bottom? There's some new names there if you want to go right there for the wave list.
Okay.
You have.
Yep. All right. So we got G.
Yep.
Go ahead.
We talked about JBC, which is surprising. Dean Clark was an interesting player that I think really came on, man. In terms of like young safeties that you like or defensive backs, he's a guy that you want to get on the practice squad because I think he's got some potential there, man.
Oh, dude, Dean Clark, man, I was very impressed. That second preseason game, I really liked what he put forth. Jordan Clark also, it kind of seems like this is Ryan Clark's son,
Yep.
DB out of Notre Dame. I think he could also maybe be a practice squad guy, but how many safeties do you really want to keep? If it's Dean Clark, Jordan Clark,
Yeah.
you're looking at the roster, probably going to keep 4. And then not to mention Jarius Monroe. So let's see. Okay, yeah. So Dean Clark, Jordan Clark, Brady Cook wave. This was expected.
Yep.
I would say I think he should probably get back on the practice squad as well, in my opinion.
Now, quick question before we go to Corley. With Cook gone, you have two quarterbacks. Tyrod and Justin Fields. A lot of quarterbacks were released today too. You have your DeVitos, Mike Whites, all those guys. Do you look to upgrade? Do you look to get a quality third quarterback, or are you cool with right now having Brady Cook on the practice squad, kind of developing and seeing what happens? Because especially considering Tyrod's injury history.
Yeah, that's the big question. I mean, honestly, I think I would bring in another QB just to be safe because, yeah, you're not putting Tyrod on IR, but there's still a chance that he could miss the game. Like
Yep.
IR means you're going to miss, I think, at least a minimum of 4 games. So Tyrod could miss, that even though Aaron Glenn said he's like on track to play for week 1, at the end of the day, he's a veteran who's dealing with a knee scope because of a wear and tear injury before the first preseason game. That to me doesn't really sound like he's going to be like 100% locked in healthy for the entire season because he could be ready for week 1. And we've talked about this, but what happens week 7, week 8, week 9, maybe there's another wear and tear injury, and now we're kind of scrambling, or they just throw Brady Cook out there. But I really like the idea of having just a veteran on the roster.
Yep. Me too.
But I don't think Brady Cook will be claimed. Because Kyle McCord is also out there. DTR is out there. DeVito's out there.
There's a lot of names out there. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we'll be okay there. Let's see. Who else? Okay, so Brady Cook, Malachi Corley, we knew about this one. I guess we can kind of dive into this. I mean,
what a disappointment, dude. Like the hype and all the things surrounding him, and then getting a second chance to restart his career with this regime and an offense that could be a lot more friendly to him, kind of maximize his skill set. And he didn't maximize it at all, dude. Like he literally just didn't. He just didn't show up perform to his capabilities at all. That's just ridiculously disappointing, man. Like it's almost inexcusable. He had like zero impact on this team whatsoever. None.
Yeah, and it's a situation where it's just like you kind of feel like the Jets were like beating their chests, like, oh, look at us. He's our wide receiver 4. We traded up to go get him in round 3. I mean, they had him ranked higher than Brian Thomas, dude. Keon Coleman, A.D. Mitchell. Like there's Xavier Worthy. There's a lot of good wide receivers in that class. And to sit there and like act like, I don't know, man, the whole situation just it's just disappointing, man. But it is what it is. Donovan Edwards. This has kind of been a big topic of discussion. I feel like because let's just scroll down real quick. So it's looking like Nkwonu probably made the team.
Yep. The thing is too, it's like we all love Donovan Edwards, but the versatility of Kene is just like an all-pro returner. He can catch the ball, he can run the ball. They kind of showcase him in the preseason game. They can actually run it. He looked pretty well doing it. So I think it's just a matter of what he brings to the table. And I like to be honest with you, you talked about this last couple of days where we like Donovan Edwards, but I don't think he's going to get claimed though. I think there's a pretty good chance you can get him on the practice squad and develop him,
Yeah, I mean, the bottom line is all these teams that like need running backs, they've already went out and handled it. I mean, you're seeing like really productive backs in the late that were drafted in the late rounds. Like, look at what Ollie Gordon's doing for Miami.
Yeah.
Guy looks like a beast, and he was what, a 5th or a 6th round pick. I mean, how many running backs were even drafted this year? I want to say like 8 to 10. It's just some insane number. Not to mention the teams that are already fine at running backs and didn't even have a need before the draft. So I think we'll get Donovan Edwards back. I don't want to say it's 100% lock, but 95% for me. Kingsley Jonathan. I don't necessarily know if he's going to be on the practice squad. Obviously, he's a 3-year player. I'm not sure. Let's see. Did I scroll down?
Peyton Page is an interesting guy because he seems like he's coming on every preseason game. He's getting a little bit better. He has an impact. He's a perfect candidate for a practice squad.
I love Peyton Page, man. He was my favorite UDFA that the Jets brought in. Former 5-star stud coming out of high school. had some weight concerns early on. Couldn't really crack that starting lineup early in the Clemson days, but as we all know, Clemson's defensive lines are typically stacked.
Yep.
Not trying to make excuses for the guy, but when he did play that final season, not only was he just this big contributor on special teams, but he was third team all ACC. He was getting in the backfield, making plays, and a preseason standout for me.
Yep, 100%.
So yeah, Harrison Mevis did not make the team. Cole Laval, we were talking about him before. UFL standout, one of the better guards in the UFL. I think I want him on my practice squad.
I agree.
And just for context, we get 16 practice squad slots. So, it's not like we have 5 slots and we're saying like, oh, this guy should make it. This guy should make it. No, we got 16 to work with.
Yep.
Let's see. Jamal Pritchett waived. Thoughts?
Brutal. It just bums me out, man. I truly hope that they get him on the practice squad because I just think I'd like to take a chance with him. And I understand he had a muff punt last week, or a muff kick. I get it. But it's just like I'd rather take a chance with him than Gibson. I just would. I just think I like his shiftiness, explosiveness. He's a dynamic player, man. I think Gibson's very limited. I think we've seen the best of him personally.
Yeah, I think really for me, like what's the tough pill to swallow is that we understand how weak of a position wide receiver is right now for this Jets team. We have 2 young guys in Brandon Smith and Pritchett who showed out, had good camps and good preseason performances. And yet the jobs are going to
Skinner too, to be honest with you.
And Skinner, yeah, that's a really, really good point. It's and further, for example, stuff like that does happen. Like Shavers, Justin, I think his first name is Justin. Justin Shavers made the Bills roster. The Bills are a Super Bowl contender, and they're taking a chance based off of a impressive preseason performance. Again, I think it's just a little disappointing for a lot of Jets fans because wide receiver is not locked in. We don't know who the wide receiver 2, wide receiver 3, we don't know who these guys are going to be, especially now that Corley's out. And we have young guys on the roster that have put together impressive off seasons. And the jobs are going to Lazard and Gibson, who just didn't really, they didn't really do much in camp. And then B, they've missed a lot of time due to injury. So it does make you ask the question, objectively speaking, what more could have Pritchett, did Pritchett need to have 2 punt returns for TDs for him to actually make the team? Or I don't know. Jackson Sermon, linebacker, Quentin Skinner, wide receiver, Aaron Smith, linebacker, again, Brandon Smith, Carter Warren.
We talked about, like Quentin Skinner, that bums me out too, man. Like that's a young guy that hopefully practice squad can it, but young guy emerging. Jarius Monroe, he's injured. Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, I didn't even realize that Monroe was.
We got hurt twice last game, but he kept coming back in. Remember, he got down, he went down, he came back in. I'm like, dude, this guy's tough as nails. And he came back and was making plays hurt too. Remember?
Yeah, I was gonna say because I remember when he went down, he came back in, and I'm like, because my stomach dropped initially. I'm like, man, like Monroe was actually having a really impressive game, flashing, trying to make plays on the ball, like a high effort, big time motor guy. He was a great cornerback at Tulane. Spent last season with the Jets practice squad, and they ended up moving him to safety. But he's a big player, big hitter, just a really physical and strong guy.
Good range.
Man, I didn't realize that it was. Injury settlement here. But that 100% I want back in the practice squad. 100%.
Yep.
He did enough to me.
No, I definitely like it. So now we went to the guys that were waived. We can look at the guys that made it because there's some interesting names on the team that actually made it, which are really, really interesting because they're kind of, I think they did they do like a photo thing of the 53? How'd they handle it? Or is there a list somewhere else we can use?
I don't see a list on here. I mean, I guess we can go through all these, but that might take up some time.
Yeah,
I kind of like have just written down some of the players that I feel like were maybe like on the fringe surprises, if you want to go through those. So the first is Leonard Taylor. Not really a surprise that he made it, but for some reason there was like some speculation that he was not going to make the team after the Harrison Phillips and Briggs acquisition.
And he played the whole last preseason game. He was out there an extensive period of time, which almost felt like he was getting showcased for something. So
right. Which, I didn't really agree with at the time, but I'm happy he's here. I love Leonard Taylor.
Yep.
At the end of the day, man,
dude, I'm with you, dude. Completely with you.
Yeah, he back when he was coming out, of Miami, like he was a really, really good player. He was expected to be a mid-round pick. Like I remember seeing mock drafts with him going in round 3. We get him in the undrafted market. Outside of Leonard Taylor, we got Zaire Barnes making the squad.
We talked about him yesterday, and it was kind of a guy. He's a versatile. He seemed like he's coming on as well, too, man. But then, how many linebackers did they keep? Wait a minute.
Yeah, that's what I'm writing down now. So you got Sherwood, you got Q, you got Barnes, McCray Ball,
Yep,
and Mawaga,
and
so
Barnes.
5. Well, so 5 total.
Wow. Okay.
Now I do like Barnes on special teams, but it is interesting. 5. I mean, it's not really that big of a deal, honestly. 5.
I mean, I like him as a player. I don't hate the move. I was just curious to see how many linebackers they were going to keep, though. So I don't hate it.
Yeah, and then we got, like we said before, Kane making the squad over Donovan Edwards. So 4 running backs, but Kane is that special teams return guy. That to me right now is who I want returning kicks.
Okay, so then if you're going to go the tight end group, that means Ruckert made it, Stone Smart made it, Beck made it.
Beck made it.
Yep. So now that's an interesting position because that would be interesting because it seems like based on the cuts today, there's some chances for there's opportunity for upgrade the tight end group, right? Some players have been cut from the Giants. There's a couple guys out there. You're like, you know what? Ruckert may be safe for now, but he could be shuffled out in the next day or two.
Yeah, because I mean, where do you line Beck up at, like as far as the overall depth chart is concerned? By the way, the Jets didn't release a depth chart. I don't think it was
dude. Beck's like 2. It's right to Taylor. I think Beck's ridiculously important because Stone Smart's not going to be a blocker. Beck's a blocker. He can block. He can run. He can catch. Yeah, Mason Taylor. Like to me, Stone Smart's like a glorified receiver. I think at this point.
Yeah, but that's kind of what I'm saying here. Like, do you list do you put Beck in as fullback, or do you carry whatever it is, the what would be 4 or 5 tight ends? Because you got Mason, Ruckert, Smart, and Beck, so 4 tight ends.
Yeah,
I like Beck a lot, man. I'm really happy he made the team.
Yeah, Ruckert's the X factor, dude. That's the one guy that I'm surprised he's still here.
Yeah, and Beck was someone who was also kind of playing late into that 3rd preseason game against Philly, kind of like drawing up some speculation. But yeah, Eddie, Ruckert made it. This is another one of those, kind of questionable decisions where it's like, starts off the training camp as a starter because, no Mason Taylor because of the whole contract holdout thing. But then as training camp starts unfolding, he's just not really doing a whole lot. Preseason rolls around, he's not really doing a whole lot. And yeah, he's on the team. And granted, like Ruckert's number 1 skill is blocking.
Yep.
So, that's worth noting. But at the end of the day, I mean, I guess if they want to keep Beck as a fullback, but for me, I think you're right. If we pick up a wide receiver tomorrow, an edge rusher tomorrow, I think I would probably move on from Ruckert first.
Yep,
and then all of a sudden that 3rd tight end spot would be Andrew Beck.
Yep. Yeah, I completely agree with you. Absolutely.
Yeah, 2 safeties only. No, I think so we got, let's see, Cisco, Tony Adams, Isaiah Oliver, and Malachi Moore. So 4 safeties.
Which we talked about. That's you got Tony, Adams, Oliver, Cisco, Malachi Moore. Yeah, Ryan from Jets Talk 24/7 just sent out a spreadsheet out. Has it all broken down like by position, which is perfect.
Cool. NJ Lord, one thing to keep in mind, some of this is roster gymnastics. Yeah, this stuff can definitely change tomorrow. I mean, I think last season the 53 came out and then it was like completely different the next day. Well, Isaiah Oliver and Moore are more so slot corners. Yeah, but they're going to list them under safeties because you don't want to, like how they're going to set it up. My guess is they're going to have Gardner, Michael Carter, Brandon Stevens, Azarie Thomas, and Quantez Stiggers listed at corner. I don't think they're going to list off 7 corners and put 2 safeties. And they moved Isaiah Oliver over to safety.
So yeah, and now the interesting thing is you're looking at the edge right now. It's Jermaine Johnson, Will McDonald, Michael Clemens, Tyler Barron, and Brady McGregor. McGregor made it. So if you're looking at first guys out, if you're looking for some kind of upgrade, Rucker could probably be it. And I'm not disrespecting McGregor by no means. He had an excellent game last week. We really started showing out with explosiveness off the edge. He looked really good, but I'm like, he's a guy that could be maybe on the outside looking in a couple of days as well, right?
Yeah, I mean,
because look at that edge spots that's not an inspiring group right there, to be honest with you. Michael Clemens, Tyler Barron, and Braden McGregor. And you figure Jermaine Johnson's on a pitch count. I mean, he's going to be on a rep count early on in the season. So can these guys consistently get to the quarterback, or you get to sell your soul with a blitz?
Yeah, I mean, we are going to be blitzing more this season. So, like, you got to imagine, okay, Quincy's sack number should go up. If anything, their pressure rate should go up. Their quarterback hit should go up, which is all positive. But, like, it's not so much that solid defense where we got to get home with our front four. It's more so, and we were talking about this last night over on your channel, but it's more so, I think collectively, can we get after the quarterback? I think this is going to be one of those systems where we need a big time run or like an edge setter on one side of the defensive line. And, even with that said, I don't necessarily think we have that guy on the roster. I'm hoping Clemens can prove, me and a lot of people wrong here, but I think Clowney, Za'Darius Smith, like there are options out there. Not to mention a couple guys that I have written down here that got cut earlier today. So yeah, edge is definitely a need.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, Bear. Honestly, the only bad cuts were Smith and Pritchett. Yeah, I think a lot of the stuff was not too shocking outside of those two. So I think you're right.
Yeah, those are ones. Yeah, I mean, you're looking at the positions that you're focusing on. For me, it's like wide receiver, tight end. The edge depth, I'm agreeing with. The edge depth to me is ridiculously concerning. Now we look at it, when you see it on paper now, you're like, oh, that's not really ideal. Quantez Stigger's making the team is cool. AZ Thomas obviously going to make it. They draft him. We're very high on him. Tony Adams remains here, which is, it's interesting. I mean, if you look at this, we see the roster now. What would be your biggest concern, like a position group that has a concern?
For me, it's got to be edge and wide receiver.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Because at least with safety, we have Malachi Moore, and he was flashing in preseason. Whereas the wide receivers, the players that did make the team, were not flashing. They were not making plays in preseason and in training camp, for that matter.
Yeah, I mean, I'd go same thing. I'd probably say edge is probably. I didn't realize it was going to be like this. I think edge is probably my biggest priority. Wide receivers are concerned, but you got to kind of hope Josh Reynolds and Tyler Johnson can hold their own. Maybe Mason Taylor can pick up the slack and Stone Smart. Safety position could be. I mean, the safety position. There's some guys out there, man. Even like in the offseason when free agency was out there was a lot of quality safeties out there that were reputable, Pro Bowl caliber guys that didn't get paid a lot of money that could have been brought in, but the Jets went a different route. They went Cisco. They want Malachi Moore to give Tony Adams a chance. Do you think that this is kind of be where kind of like an area for an upgrade with some of the guys that are available out there? I like Tony Jefferson. I think he can play. Like, there's a couple guys that I think you could take them now and start in 2 weeks.
Yeah, I want to, and Dylan, what's going on, man? I think when it comes to safety, it's tough because like we've been having this conversation since March, since free agency. Like there's still, like you said, like some good safeties that are still out there in the open market. You kind of feel like, man, the Jets would have done something by now if they were panicking with that. It kind of just feels like Tony Adams is a placeholder until Malachi Moore is ready. That's how it feels right now for me.
Okay, that's a fair point. That's fair. I just think if you're going to preach competition and looking for upgrades, and your roster is always, there's guys out there, man, that can definitely be an upgrade. But again, if you don't want to also hinder Malachi Moore's development too, where they think that highly of him. So I guess that's kind of like on Steve Wilkes and Aaron Glenn. Yeah,
I think one thing that's interesting is how this practice squad is going to be laid out, because we have a lot of like. If you're just purely looking at safety, Dean Clark, Ryan Clark's son, Jordan Clark, you got Jarius Monroe, Malachi Moore. Those are 4 young safeties, and Moore obviously is making the team. Do you put 3 safeties on the practice squad? Probably not, right?
Probably not.
Probably going to keep two out of those 3.
Yep.
But then again, how serious is Monroe's injury? So Yeah, I don't know. Dylan, thoughts on Marquise Hayes making the offensive lineman? I honestly, I was a little caught off guard by it. Not gonna lie. Hayes is someone who bounced around. I
Yeah.
remember him back at Oklahoma, but yeah, Green Bay, Washington, obviously with the Jets now. But this is so. I wonder how many offensive linemen in total. That's probably 10,
I can
right?
tell you right now. Hold
Marquise
on, let's
Hayes.
see. So you got
Yeah,
four
there you go.
tackles.
There
You
you
got
go.
four tackles, 4 guards, and 2 centers. So you got 10.
Yeah, I get wanting to have depth, but I think right now with offensive line, like if we have our solidified starting five in place, locked in, ready to go, I'm okay. Basically, like how I'm viewing these positions is like if it's a position of need or I have a question about it, strong safety or wide receiver edge, I don't mind throwing more guys on the active roster because you don't know who's going to turn up
Yep.
when the lights come on. You don't
Yep.
know exactly what's going to happen. Maybe that starter gets hurt tomorrow in practice or something.
Mhm.
And the guy that you liked, but you let go is now being claimed. So now you're, SOL completely
Yeah.
with DN. So, or, with any of these positions, but with offensive line, because I view it as a strength, if say Membu gets hurt, we have Okorafor there. If Tippmann gets hurt, we have,
Myers.
Myers. Yeah,
Mhm.
exactly. Xavier Newman was someone who I really like as backup interior
Yep.
offensive line depth. So I like that. Max Mitchell as well. So yeah, I mean, I don't want to, sit here and make too big of a deal of it because it's not like this 53-man roster is going to be the same. I mean, I guess it could be, but I feel like it's pretty unlikely that it's going to be the exact same in 2 weeks when we play Pittsburgh, because the reality is if we claim one player, take your pick on whoever, Trey Palmer, Buccaneers, Tommy DeVito,
Yeah.
whoever, DTR, one of these guys are going.
Yep. Well, that's the thing too. It's
Do you-
like, and that's the one thing. Like, it always seemed like with Joe Douglas and Sal, they were kind of arrogant about their rosters. We're like, no, we're set. We're not gonna make a lot of claims. Like they kind of stayed status quo. I'm curious to see. Muji already made a couple trades, 3 trades. So I'm wondering if he's going to stay that aggressive approach and say, listen, we have an opportunity here to get some upgrades, or if he says, you know what, let's go with the youth move for now, see how it goes after week 1. If we have to make a move, just the non-guaranteed contracts and everything else, you can go that way too. There's a lot of ways you can handle like the roster gymnastics.
Yeah, dude. And quick shout out to everyone in here hanging out. Over 700 people. That's absolutely insane. I really, really appreciate it. It's a weeknight. Let's go, man. You guys are the best. Jets fans are the best. And dude, that Pittsburgh game, I'm freaking fired up. You're going to be at that game, right?
I'm debating right now. I'm still mad at the Jets for them. I told you the story, right? I tell you the story happened. I call the ticket office. I'm like, I want to get 7 tickets. They're like, we can only give you 10. I don't want 10. I want 7. Like, just go to Ticketmaster then. I'm like, what kind of customer service is that? I'm like, are you serious? They literally said, yeah, we're not going to help you. So I was kind of like, I was kind of like bitter about it. I'm like, that's kind of rude. Like, I want to bring a bunch of friends out to get, so we'll see.
Well, what about week 3? I'll be at that game, Bucks Jets.
Yeah, I'll come hang out with you.
That'll be sick, man. That'll be sick. Weather's a lot different down in Florida, but yeah, that should be a lot of fun. And that would be the home opener for the Bucks too. So yeah, interesting matchup, Todd Bowles and everything. So I guess, man, if this is the 53-man roster, again, I mean, what's like for you, your likelihood? Does this stay the same?
No.
Do the Jets claim anybody? Again, we're sitting 7th in the pecking order as far as waiver claims.
Well, what would you say based on the cuts today? Who do you think is the biggest impact player available that the Jets could get to upgrade the roster by the Pittsburgh game? Is there a guy that sticks out? Like a name that was cut today, you're like, you know what? That guy should be on this team because he can make a serious impact.
I got a couple.
Let's hear him.
I got a couple. So I think for me, yeah, and JD served. This is rookie Malachi Moore at safety. Yeah, it's a bit of a question mark, right? Mid-round rookie, but Moore does have some positives going for him, right? First team All SEC and whatnot. Like I do like Malachi Moore, but I think the first player that stands out to me, man, is at the tight end position, Greg Dulcich.
Yep. Giants.
3 touchdowns in preseason. He was drafted by Denver a couple years ago in the 3rd round by Darren Muji and co. He has size. He is at this point a veteran. I think even though he played 11 games and looked pretty damn impressive his rookie season, He didn't really follow it up with all that much success, missed a lot of time. This is someone who feels like he's 100% healthy, he's good to
Mhm.
go, and can slide easily in at that tight end 2 spot. And we can roll with uh, Mason Taylor,
Yep.
Dulcich, Stone Smart,
Yep.
and then have Beck as that fullback, emergency tight end.
Yeah, no, 100% agree, dude. I completely agree with you. That's an instant like Ruckert out, he's in, or however you want to do it. It makes sense. He's just a better player. Like, and he wouldn't be, he was not breaking the bank. And the Jets have a lot of cap space too, so it's not like they have to worry about that kind of stuff. But and for him, he'd probably want to, it's like he'd be happy to stay in the same area. But I definitely like him as well. And the other thing too is the Giants' offense last year was so friggin' bad. Like you can't, it's hard to even assess how like half the players they had. But I definitely like him though.
Yeah. So, and to be objective, we don't necessarily need the tight ends to go out and get 700 receiving yards. Can you be the next Travis Kelce? Because we're going to be this run centric team.
Mhm.
And Mason Taylor, I want getting the bulk of the pass catching looks from Justin
Yep.
Fields at the tight end position. But I do think it's worth noting, if Mason Taylor goes down, okay, who's your primary option? You need to feel confident in that.
And then that's usually like the stance. It's like, what if this happens? Like we said, what if Garrett Wilson goes down? Do you have a guy that can pick up his slack? The tight end group is a lot more concerned. When Mason Taylor goes down, can Stone Smart do it? Who's catching all the passes? Who's going to be that safety valve if Garrett Wilson's covered and can't get the ball to Brees? So that's where I think tight end 2 is important. You could say it could be Beck in the interim if that's how you're going to want to go that way. But I think you'd want a more legitimate tight end though.
Yeah, I agree. The tight end from the Colts, yeah, Jelani Woods. I like Woods. He has great size, but
He's
he has
hurt.
missed a ton of time
Yeah.
because of injury. So that to me is more so like that upside bet as
Yep.
opposed to safe, reliable option, which
Yep.
isn't necessarily a bad thing. It's just all about preference.
Yep. Absolutely.
So I think another player here that we can kind of dive into is Trey Palmer from Tampa
I
Bay.
know you like him. You probably saw him firsthand at practice and stuff. Do you have like the inside scoop on him? I'm waiting for like Buck Central to come out now because you could have a second channel coming up.
Yeah, I went to the preseason game the other night. Yeah, I think really, if you're looking at the Bucks wide receiver depth chart, of course, Mike Evans, you got Chris Godwin, first round pick Emeka Ibuka, and then also they snagged Tez Johnson, who looks
Yeah.
like the man. Absolutely, like looks great. And Trey Palmer right now, I think would be the number one wide receiver on the waiver claim kind of list here. Guys that are available, especially because Amari Cooper just got picked up by the Raiders
Oh,
on a
yeah.
1-year deal. So,
So what role would Trey Palmer play in this offense? Like, what would he be? A slot guy, a speed guy? Like, where would you like? Because I'm trying to say, like, what role would he play? Because who would you kick out to bring him in?
um, I mean, I don't like necessarily kicking guys out of other positional groups. So, like, if I'm bringing Palmer in, I would remove a wide receiver.
That's what I'm
That's
saying. Like,
kind of
what?
how I would do.
Yeah. So, like, based on his skill set, what receiver would he replace?
I mean, I think if Palmer comes in, he's probably our third best wide receiver in the room.
Really?
Um, I mean, that would be my guess. Like, I mean, he's not better than Garrett. Obviously, Arian Smith, that's a bit of an unknown. He could just be, lightning quick, flying down the field, hauling in passes every week. That's, obviously up in the air. But as far as like the Gibsons of the world, Reynolds, Tyler Johnson, Lazard, I don't know. I mean, like, do you view Trey Palmer as an upgrade or no?
I do, but I'm trying to figure out who. Like, I've been dying to get Lazard out of here, but like, would let's see. Then it's like you get rid of Gibson, then you could be who would be your punt returner though?
One of those wide receivers is getting claimed. They're not all making it to the practice squad. Yeah, I think one of them is probably going to go. Whether that be Skinner, whether that be Brandon Smith.
Probably Brandon Smith, right? It's probably the guy that's going to get claimed.
See, I don't know because Skinner's a rookie and Smith is,
That's
obviously, yeah. So, man, I don't know. Pritchett, I could see being claimed, but I don't know. Like you're just looking at teams that need wide receivers. Like there's a lot of them, or if the Jets maybe don't claim a guy in Trey Palmer, because this is another huge side note that we have to bring up. Super important here. Whenever we're listing off these players, Trey Palmer, whatever, Dolchich, quarterbacks, whoever. We have to talk about the teams in front of the Jets as well. The
Yeah.
Titans, the Browns, the Jags, the Giants, the Patriots,
So the Jets are at
Raiders.
7, right?
Yeah, and so like if you're a team in the Patriots who have a major question at wide receiver right now, could Trey Palmer maybe make sense for them?
Yeah. True.
Could uh like you got to ask these questions, because the reality is the Jets don't have the first crack. We don't have first dibs. There are 6 other teams in front of us that have their first opportunity. I'm shocked Tim Patrick didn't get cut. Yeah, I haven't checked out the Lions 53-man roster.
Well, speaking of the Lions, what do you think? We talked about edge before. What do you think about Zardarius Smith? And I know that the word is like he wants to play for a contending team, and that's fine. That also means I want to get paid. That's also what it kind of tells me. Like, if you're a lesser team, pay me more, I'll come there. Would you, based on what we saw from the edge tonight, would you say, you know what, maybe he's a guy, he's got familiarity with Aaron Glenn, that you should consider?
I think so. I don't think it could hurt. I mean, the Jets, I think, have right now over $25 million in cap
Yep.
space.
Yeah, he's like after there's like 25.9 or something like that, 25.9.
Yeah, it looks like Za'Darius is probably going to go back to Detroit.
Hey man, make a phone call, Garrett. Make Aaron Glenn make a phone call. Hey man, long time no talk. How you doing?
Yeah. Hey, I didn't know this. Brownlee makes the Kansas City Chiefs roster.
Mm-hmm.
Big ups to Brownlee, man. I always liked him.
I liked him too.
Did the 53-man drop? Yeah. So the Jets didn't like officially list it like who made the team. They just listed exactly who they released, which is this list right here. But yeah, Jeremy Ruckert made the squad. Donovan Edwards did not make the squad. Brady Cook did not make the squad.
All the young receivers didn't make the squad, except for Aaron Smith.
Yeah, there were a couple, head scratchers. Look, I don't want to make it sound like, oh, I know Aaron Glenn's roster more than he does, but just from a fan's perspective, it feels like we kind of are passing the young guys by to go with like players that aren't so proven, in my opinion.
So now, for the wide receiver group, are they doing that for the benefit of Justin Fields, saying, you know what, these are veteran guys that should know the offense, they should run the right routes, they should be there for them, right place, right time, instead of having a young receiver there, like say 2 or 3 young receivers, including Aaron Smith, that could be kind of erratic and making mistakes, and like that kind of holds back the offense? Are they going with the known over the unknown for the benefit of Justin Fields?
Right. Actually, one question that kind of popped into my mind now, we're sitting here talking about different options that we can, potentially scoop up. There was a veteran wide receiver yesterday who actually makes a lot of sense for the Jets. He came out and requested to trade in Jacoby Myers. Yep. Do you think maybe now that the 53-man rosters are set across the league, they're going to allow like these waiver claims to kind of process a little bit, and then all of a sudden maybe move a late round selection, potentially a mid-round selection for one of these veteran wide receivers?
Well, I think absolutely, because I think what you do is you wait to see what all the cuts are. Okay, let's see if there's any surprises, any guys we can get that are surprising us. Like kind of assess your market. Okay, nobody we don't really love. Okay, fine, let's go make the trade then. Kind of like it's like your if-then statement. If this guy's available, we'll do this. Now it's like, all right, they're not available, minus Palmer. So yeah, I mean Myers makes a lot of sense, dude. He really does, especially now when you look at this team.
Yeah, dude, Myers. Yeah, he would slide in, I think, beautifully as wide receiver too. A couple other players. I guess we could kind of skim by the quarterbacks, but DTR, Kyle McCord, I think is probably going to go right back to Philly, and then Tommy DeVito.
I see like Tommy DeVito's funny because I see everybody hates him. Oh, he's a giant. He sucked. Like I don't think I'm not saying he's great. I think he's got a lot of potential, man. And I think that if say like Tyrod Taylor goes down, I'd have no problem with Tommy DeVito being the backup. I think he's serviceable. He'd be fine. I'd have no problem with him whatsoever. He'd probably be happy staying in New Jersey. You know what I mean? It wouldn't bother me one bit.
Yeah, Heineke's out there too now.
He's a gunslinger, boy. But then it's like, it's interesting because you mentioned DTR. I always like DTR as well. And you look at what is this offense going to be with Justin Fields? You want that mobile quarterback. Then it kind of, that would kind of be a lot more logical fit though, right?
Yeah. Yep. Because you don't have to, in the event that Fields were to go down with injury, you don't have to all of a sudden change the playbook around, right? You're not going from this mobile quarterback that utilizes his, the QB's legs to this immobile statue.
DeVito's got a pretty good arm, man. I'm not saying he's too limited. And I like
Yeah,
I see the Mike White comp. I see the Mike White things too. I always like Mike White, but I think DeVito's probably better than him.
yeah. What's up with Dan Skipper? This is your guy.
That's my guy. I love it.
Dude, I don't know if he made the team or not. Let me just quickly
They
search
caught him
that up.
yesterday, didn't they?
Did they release him yesterday?
They released him yesterday.
They did release him yesterday. That's right. I mean, yeah, like your first kind of thought is Ben Johnson, Chicago Bears, but yeah, especially if we're hanging on to all these different offensive linemen,
Yep.
10 on the roster. But
That'd be interesting to see what players are cut from the Lions and seeing like, are there's any like, can you figure Aaron Glenn? He probably that's the most familiarity he has. That maybe they try to fleece that, go through their leftovers.
yeah, Tyler Huntley, that's an
Another guy.
interesting option. But the
Yep.
thing is with Huntley, he's been out there for such a long time, and the Browns just scooped him up. So like you kind of think like, okay, if the Jets maybe had interest in Huntley, they would, maybe have reached out before.
Mhm.
He signed on to Cleveland, and Huntley went to Cleveland as the fifth quarterback, not even including Deshaun Watson. So like that he was set up to be a long shot. It was almost like it was like a one preseason game contract.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't think Huntley's the worst option in the world.
Did I saw Armand saying Hendon Hooker, and that's somebody we talked about extensively throughout the offseason, a guy with the Lions. Apparently he had a rough camp though, I think, with the Lions this year, right? That was the story with him.
Yeah, honestly, it was pretty disappointing. From what I heard, one of my best friends is a big Lions fan. He's just like he just never took that step.
Yeah.
He comes in like all the draft analysts were hyping him up coming out of Tennessee, just this downfield accurate quarterback. But yeah, and even like in Chicago, right? Ben Johnson, they're keeping 3 quarterbacks on their 53-man too. So yeah, I don't know what's going to happen with Hendon Hooker. I mean, maybe he comes to the Jets, but it sounds like he's just literally never progressed in camp.
That's a shame.
Yeah, Hendon Hooker is not good. Yeah, for some reason he didn't grow. He didn't get any better as time went on.
DTR is interesting, man. Though that's an interesting player there.
Yeah, and then another player that I find pretty interesting is DeMarvin Leal from Pittsburgh. Not only do you just have like kind of the insight with Pittsburgh, Mike Tomlin, that defense, but Leal is someone who former 3rd-round pick coming out of Texas A&M. This kind of like versatile tweener hybrid, whatever you want to call him on the defensive line. He played inside, he's played outside. Never really been this, great 3-4 fit in the Steelers defense.
Right.
So he never really kind of found his role, despite him being this rotational guy. Athletically, he looks the part. Size-wise, he looks the part. But production-wise, it just hasn't really been there. And so I'm kind of thinking, okay, if Aaron Glenn is looking at the D-end room, pretty, it's
Like,
a thin room here, slim pickings. Maybe they take a shot on a former 3rd-round pick who was pretty impressive back at Texas A&M.
so would you, if you got a guy like that, would you replace McGregor? Or would you replace Clemens?
I think I would probably replace McGregor because I feel better about him being on the practice squad than Clemens.
Okay.
Just my guess. Yeah, but dude, tomorrow should be interesting. I think tomorrow at 12 or 1 p.m. The waivers can start being claimed, and we're gonna start seeing some movement. And also, could there maybe be some more trades?
That's what I'm wondering too, because now it's like everybody knows what they have. Now you're gonna see who, like like a Myers. Because the NFL is crazy right now. There's so many rumors already about who can stay, who can go. That and Muji's already been aggressive, over the last week. So hopefully that stays true to his form.
Yeah, it's really cool, man, because it's like think about all the discussions that, we've had, all the discussions that Jets fans really all over the world have had about maybe, say, for example, defensive tackle.
Yeah.
All offseason, free agency. Okay, got to stop the run. What are we going to do? Then we enter the draft cycle. We're looking at defensive tackles. Okay, who we're going to bring in. It's, we're getting through preseason game after preseason game. Nothing is really happening. And it's just like, okay, this is it. And then snap of a finger, a couple of days goes by, and D tackle is all of a sudden a deep position for this Jets team. Q, Harrison, Briggs, Leonard Taylor, Jay Tufele.
No, it's you feel a lot better about it, but now you look at the edge and now you're worried about that. So now it's like you address one, now you have another. So it's like, but then again, you made a really good point before. If they're going to blitz a lot, you can hide a lot with the blitz too. So you just got to hope Jermaine Johnson can, come true to form sooner rather than later.
Right, right, right. So yeah, I think that's gonna do it for us. Maybe Isaiah Foskey. He was a Saints. He was released from the Saints. Kind of, he's been a bust up to this point, but he's a second round pick out of Notre Dame a couple years back.
Yeah.
But drafted specifically to Dennis Allen's defense. Again, never really worked out. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe. Let's see. Oh, let's see. NYJ, bro, I appreciate it, man. Thank you a ton. I just hope it doesn't take this team 6 more years of building. At this point, winning is the only thing that can cure my fandom and a lot of it. Yeah, I really think this season is about the foundation. It's about the culture, trying to start it, and then 2026, it's like, okay, playoffs is a real conversation. That's just my take on it.
This should be a very good building block year. Assess everything you have. Hopefully you get the quarterback in Justin Fields, but if not, next year, if you get somebody, it should be plug and play where you have enough assets around them where you have a functional offense, not one that's been in the dark ages for friggin' a decade. I mean, that's like you just figuring out all your building blocks. And I think they have a lot of them. A lot of Pro Bowl players on this team, man. It's not like when Joe Douglas like, oh, I inherited a JV team. No, you have a legit team here with players on it. So now it's a matter of taking it and coaching them up, playing smart, playing physical. Don't beat yourself. Quality special teams, and you can compete every week.
Right. And NYJ, man, I appreciate it once again, dude. Thank you so much. Yeah, I think that's gonna do it for us, man. Is there anything else that you wanted to cover?
So what's your overall feeling on this roster right now as of today? Are you feeling encouraged going into the season? Are you skeptical? Are you cautiously optimistic? Like how do you feel about the team? The first game is in a week and a half.
Oh man, that sounds crazy. There's some positions that I feel great. Corner, O-line, running back, wide receiver 1, right? Linebackers and others, just stacked position. D tackle now. But then there's some other head scratching positions. And we can't look at Derek Muji and say, you better come in, fix this 5-win team with a horrible culture. They have a million needs. You fix it all. Plus, continue to pay Aaron Rodgers because of the contract. It's tough. I mean, coming into the offseason, we needed D tackle, we needed safety, we needed to re-sign Garrett and Sauce, we needed
a quarterback,
a right tackle, a quarterback. Yeah, we needed offensive line depth. And I think overall he's done a pretty good job. We haven't mortgaged the future. We haven't traded a first or second round pick. God, unfortunately, we don't have a third round pick because of the Hassan Reddick trade in this upcoming draft. Overall, I feel good about the roster. It's not a perfect roster, obviously. I do have some questions about it. The 53 man specifically, I have some questions about it. There's some things that they did that I personally would not have done, but it is what it is. They're smarter than I am, so we'll see how it plays out.
So your level of confidence in the team is what? On a scale 1 to 10, like feeling like 10 is like you're really encouraged about this team to like 1's like, I hate this team. They're going to win 3 games. Like, where do you sit?
I would say probably a 6.
That's I'll say like 6.5. I'm right there. And the thing is, we don't know how they're going to perform when they're being, what their schemes are going to be. Are they going to be physical, like game management, time management? We don't know about all these things. And what's Justin Fields going to be? We have no idea what he's going to be based on, series in the preseason means nothing. So we could be surprised. I don't know. I'm excited, man. I'm really excited because I think that Aaron Glenn really, his message is clear in this locker room. They're going to play hard for him. They're going to play physical. I think going to be very well coached, a lot of attention to detail. And I think, here's a good question for you before we go. How much pressure is on Aaron Glenn and the Jets to maybe not beat the Steelers, but be very, very competitive against the Steelers on week 1 at home opener, all the fanfare? How much pressure is on the team to perform at a very high level week 1?
I don't know, man. I personally don't. I feel like the pressure with the Jets is overrated by the media this year. Last year, warranted. Year before that, warranted. But this year, the Vegas over-under is 5.5. I don't understand why, like, externally, the media is breaking down every single Aaron Glenn press conference line for line, looking for, like, flaws. It's like, why are we judging this team on, like, the same level of expectations of the Eagles, the Chiefs, the Ravens, the Packers, the Lions? Like, I just don't understand that. It's almost like they're kind of waiting for them to fail, which I don't necessarily like. to answer your question, there is pressure to look good. There is pressure to perform. Man, I hope we look good. But we typically see in the first game, especially against a well-coached team in Pittsburgh, first game for a new coaching staff who's doing it all for the first time. Yeah, you have some advantages. They don't really know how you're going to game plan. They don't know your play calling tendencies. They don't know a lot of stuff, halftime adjustments, clock management, things of that nature. But it's still Glenn's first time. It's still Inkstrand's first time doing it at the pro level. Wilkes, I feel pretty good about. I think the defense will be good. But yeah, I mean, like, think about all those just kind of nuance, maybe issues with Saleh, like coming out flat.
Yeah.
Even like Adam Gase, right? Like he would start off almost like I felt like every game was 14-0, 10-0 Jets. And it's like, oh, sweet. Darnold goes right down the field and scores. But that's the only score of the game. Like they would get a field goal for the remaining 3 quarters.
Yeah, the scripted drives. Yeah, that was the ones that worked.
Yeah. So, what kind of quirks is Aaron Glenn going to have, if any? I don't want to. I mean, I think we saw Brian Flores when I think it was his first game. It could have been with the Dolphins. The Ravens just absolutely obliterated them. So,
But don't you think though? And I'm with you. I think if they play a very competitive physical game and they look like they're just prepared, but Steelers a little bit better, I'm okay with that. I'm not saying this is a friggin' 12-win team, but they got to show up. And I think the X factor in all this is Aaron Rodgers being there, right? If he plays really well, the Jets and Justin Fields struggles, it's going to just be ugly around this team, which I know he's blocking the outside noise. I just think they've got to show up, man. Home opener too, where it's like a lot of fanfare. Like I think there is some pressure. I'm not saying they can get fired or anything like that, but it's also a statement to his team too. Like, listen, I just put you through a very hard training camp. We grinded this out. Here's the results. A very good performance. Like, this is like the light at the end of the tunnel now. Now here's what we can do as we move forward, and starts week 1. And that's what I'm really hoping for.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think you make a really good point. Yeah. We have heard Aaron Glenn talk a lot about, getting ready for week 1, using training camp as like an onboarding process to be ready for week 1, not to just get ready for tomorrow. You know what I mean?
Yep. I'm excited. I can't wait. I'm glad. To be honest, I'm glad this is all over. I'm glad the preseason's over. Like, now I just want to see, because now we see what they really are. We'll see what Justin Fields really is now, what this offense really is. More importantly, what adjustments they're going to make. How do they pivot when they handle adversity, when things aren't going well? You know what I mean? You learn a lot about your staff. And that's the one thing I think with Saleh's staff, they were just so overwhelmed at times. They didn't know what the hell they were doing. This staff, as of now, seems a lot more together, a lot more prepared. They do a lot of fundamental things in practice, a lot of situational stuff, which is good. So I'm hoping that you see that early on. Because, like, the one thing is we've seen so many bad coaches, we know the red flags, right? So I'm hoping we eliminate some of those as the season starts out.
Yeah, even if the team is losing a bunch of games, you can tell which teams are well coached.
100%. Absolutely. You could tell the preparation, the level of the attention to detail, the accountability when guys aren't playing well. Don't keep trotting them out there. Michael Clemens, penalty to penalty, take him out. Alan Lazard dropping passes, take him out. Like, that's little things like that will pay dividends as the season plays out.
Yeah, and also you can flip it. Like, you can look at teams that win games, but you could tell, like, this might not be the most well-coached team out there. And they're kind of like just, I don't want to say getting lucky, but they're getting the benefit of the doubt, and their record might not actually be a representation of what they really are. Yeah, Eddie, you said it best. Details.
And that's the one thing, though. If you watch the preseason, though, like, even like Chris Banjo on special teams, the players go off to the sidelines, man. These coaches are right in their face talking to them. It's like instant reaction, instant analysis, instant coaching. A lot of position coaches are like that. And a lot of times the Jets think they were zombies over there. Like, oh, we'll watch the tape, we'll address it afterwards. It's like it's a much more animated staff, a much more intense staff, I think, than they had last year. Not like discounting all solid staff. There's a lot of good coaches on that staff, but it seemed like these guys are just a different energy, man.
Well, it just seems young and energetic, like, as far as like
too.
Right. It seems like there's more of a hands-on coach's lead type of culture that they're trying to build, as opposed to like a players first.
Yes.
Rodgers, Garrett, Devontae, CJ Mosley, Quinnen, like that. It kind of felt like it was players please lead. Coaches, we're gonna try to put you in positions to have success. And it didn't happen.
No, 100%. There's one boss in this team. You know exactly who that man is. It's Aaron Glenn. They all follow suit, which is fine. I mean, it's his vision, his blueprint. He knows how he wants it done. they established their standard. Now they have to play to it.
Yeah, man. So yeah, next week we'll be live over on Tyson's channel, 7:00. Next Tuesday should be a lot of fun. That'll
Previewing.
be
It's a preview.
the Steeler game. So
We made
it's gonna
it.
be freaking sick, dude. I cannot wait for that game. It's gonna be so much fun. Sunday, 1:00. And you got all the other games going around too. So yeah, thanks so much for watching, everybody. I really, really appreciate it. And 53 man is here. Not set in stone. We could very well see some changes tomorrow. Will we see a trade or two? What's the practice squad going to look like? 16 guys will be added to the practice squad. That's going to be big time. Or are we going to lose, the Brandon Smiths, the Skinners of the world to other teams? So yeah, thanks so much. And as always, go Jets.